We are continuing through our Monday Night Live retrospective. It is Thursday, as you were listening to this. So I've got the fourth of our five panels. We are counting Bogart as a panel, right? So I guess it's like the third of our fourth panels with. So Scott Specht, of course, who does writing for We Are Awesome TV, and he is part of the Suffering from Joy gang. Hernan Gonzalez, of course, who is the guest founder, I would say.
Yeah, the El Jefe. He's the big boss. I'm gonna give him a title he probably doesn't even like. He's the Grand Poobah, the paterfamilias.
Yep. And then we have Eli Lesser, of course, who has been creating MLS friendly content for a few years now from his LA home. We got into kind of a little bit of the history. At one point, I believe he did have all 30 MLS jerseys. He has revised that since then. So you'll learn a little bit more about that there and why and all that.
Once again, want to thank our friends at We Are Austin TV, and hopefully the outcome of this panel's edition of the Hot Take Challenge Cup will convince you that we were not in the tank for We Are Austin in this competition. Phil and I are very calm-minded, impartial, unbiased adjudicators. I feel like you cannot feel a thumb on this scale, and that doesn't spoil anything for it, by the way. I'm just saying you will be able to tell that we welcome all of our guests equally. But thanks again to We Are Austin, who helped us put on the event, promote the event, as well as Richie Contreras at Otra Por Favor, without whom we wouldn't have these recordings, and our sponsors for the event, Crystal Air Austin and CMM Plumbing, who provided the MLS and Liga MX All-Star jerseys. When we're going to throw an event, we definitely want somebody to go home with something special beyond just the experience. So wouldn't be able to have done it without them. Anything else, Phil, before we jump in?
This was a pretty interesting hot take challenge here. They were all good in their own way, but you'll see how this one kind of transpired.
Emergency podcast. They did a thing, so we gotta talk about it. Emergency podcast. It's an emergency. Emergency podcast. Shut up, hurry up, shut up, hurry up, shut up. Emergency podcast. It's an emergency.
Let's start. So all of you be in some kind of combination, and you're making content in this league. Just wondering what that experience is like and what you see your role is vis-a-vis the fans. Just thinking about trying to connect with them, trying to grow enthusiasm about the sport, because I imagine that's at the heart of what y'all do.
All right, well, first of all, thank you for the introduction, boy. Thank you, Phil West, for putting this together. Shout out to House Squad Brewery as well for having us. Shout out to the national media for coming out here and hanging out with us. It means a lot for folks here in Austin. And shout out to my Jim Moises, of course. But I want to start off by saying that for me, sometimes I feel like Jack on the Titanic. I really do. I really do sometimes feel like Jack on the Titanic because, in the sense that I feel like sometimes I won a ticket into this community of just great people in the media and just this great fan base. So sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not deserving of the kind of community, the kind of platform that we built. I don't know why, but I'm just really, really happy. And like I said, sometimes I feel like I won the ticket to the Titanic, and sometimes I feel very, very overwhelmed. But both of those days, I have my Austin FC jersey on.
First of all, I just want to say, I think Austin FC have killed it. I hate your left back, Burek, but other than that, I think you guys are great. Diego Fabregas, we're taking great care of him in LA. I appreciate him more than a lot of Galaxy fans do, but I think he's great, and I'm glad to support him and welcome him and all of that. But anyway, where I see myself, what's the question?
Just yourself as a content creator, trying to grow enthusiasm.
I guess how I view myself is I pride myself, for better and definitely for worse, as the voice of MLS supporters as a whole. Everyone knows me as an LA Galaxy supporter, but I try to speak out for as many supporter groups and clubs as possible. And I will say, in terms of how I view myself in the space, if anyone's a punk rock fan, I view myself as the gateway band. I'm like the Blink-182 to MLS to Pablo Mauer's Black Flag. I try to be the welcoming to people. I try to make content for people who are like me at 15, just getting into the sport for the first time and getting into MLS as the first time. So that's what I try to be.
And in your quest for that, you do have all 30 MLS team jerseys, right?
Yeah, so I don't have all 30, and I've also gotten rid of a few as time has gone on, because I realized maybe it wasn't so kosher to have certain jerseys, if it was for content. But Yeah, I do, but I now try not to wear them anymore. I used to do videos where I would dress up as every fan.
I remember that, yeah.
I got a lot of flack for those from my own community, and at the end of the day, I do have to listen.
That's too bad, because that was fun. I'd love to see you randomly, like, wearing an Orlando jersey. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great thing. I really want to celebrate this unique position we have as Austin fans. I didn't really follow MLS until we got a team, but to have the experience of getting an expansion team in a sport that I love in a city that I love, it was really such a great experience. And we have so much, we're so fortunate to have so much great fan media, from what we do at We Are Awesome TV to what you do and what Moon Tower does, North End doing like some true sick
Swearword.
keeping track of who is on airplanes, which I love. Like, that is the most desirable fandom to have, that we have so many people who give a
Swearword.
in that way. So yeah, I write the preview articles, and I try to just always make it to where, for somebody who's watching the game who has no idea who's playing, just be like a little bit smarter than their friends.
What you need to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's what you need to know every week.
Yeah, no, and the thing, you bring that up. I think we are so lucky in Austin that we do have such a rich media, just again, in terms of just the traditional media, and then just all the fan-driven media that's come out. We can say, oh, this is the podcast that does such and such, and this is the podcast that does such and such. And I've had to listen like on 1.25 and 1.5 just to get everything in, because I want to listen to everything. And it becomes like really tough with like kids and jobs and things like that. But there are a lot of cities in MLS still where it's just, if you're lucky, oh, there's the podcast, period, right? So we have just this incredible range and just these incredible voices that give different dimensions to what we do here.
Yeah, like I remember doing research for a team and watching a press conference, and it was just the coach and one reporter.
Yeah.
The whole time, and like that to me is like a failure on every level.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, that's a little depressing, but yeah, but that's what it is.
It was.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's think league-wide. Maybe thinking outside of your team in particular. What storylines have really jumped out to you so far this year?
For me, it has to be the Mirto Usuni kind of timeline, right?
Okay.
This guy came in from a top-notch team, Granada. I will say top-notch team compared to MLS standards. He came in a big money signing, most expensive signing in Austin FC history to date, $12.3 million. Release clause was paid. There was so much maybe hope that was going into the signing. There was a lot of people just excited to have somebody like him, especially after losing Sebastian Drusi by the way that he left Austin FC. But that's one thing that I've been following all year. I've been waiting for him to finally click on. I think that's what every Austin FC is really waiting for him. You got a glimpse of it versus San Jose, right? He kind of put his team on his back versus LA. And he really needs to do more, though. He needs to come out of his shell a little bit more. And just the whole thing with his family on the background, with his newborn son and his wife giving birth, and he didn't even go. His child, when it was born, he had to wait for international duty. He was there 10 minutes, and he flew back and had to go again. That's what I'm following, because it's soccer side. It's soccer also mixed in with the human side.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so Ozuni on the Austin side, is there one non-Austin story that you've also been following?
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. No, it's good to get that about Ozuni, because yeah, I think that's a story that a lot of us in Austin are following. It's been really challenging to watch this kind of struggle happen. Like I was on Vamos Verde's live show last week, and I described it as like being in the wilderness. Like obviously this weird MLS first-year wilderness that he's been in.
One story that I've been keeping up with, and I think Eli might appreciate that I'm bringing this up, is when is Steve Cherundolo going to leave? Because he announced that he was going to be gone at the beginning of the season. And then
Keep him there forever.
I'm seeing fans say, hey, he needs to go. He was criticized after the 3-3 draw, the play that he took out or whatnot. I thought it was really weird that he announced that he was leaving when he did. Maybe he should have kept it in the back of his pocket or whatnot. It just didn't paint a good picture with his fan base.
Kind of the fact that we miss you already if you don't leave? That kind of thing?
Pretty much.
Okay, Eli, what about you? What have you been following?
Yeah, obviously I could talk about the Galaxy's downfall this season for being MLS champs. All right.
Go on.
I don't need to harp on that, but I will say San Diego FC, and I like to focus. I like talking about what happens on the pitch, but mainly what happens off the pitch. And there's a sense of rivalry when it comes to LA versus San Diego, and seeing how the San Diego supporters are coming strong and really trying to, it's the same big bro, little bro mentality that's happened with LA versus San Diego in the past, and seeing how their supporters have really tried to make their mark on the league, and it's been sadly for the worse. And we've seen that in both times. Both LA clubs have visited San Diego, have resulted in disasters. And some people say that's growth of MLS supporter culture. I'm not really a fan of that stuff. It's been an interesting story to tell, especially in that market and just how they've come in.
But the team's been good.
The team's been great, and we can get into whether MLS expansion sides have a little bit of favoritism or not. I don't want to get too hot there. I have a different hot take there. But definitely San Diego FC have come in hot, and I'm impressed by their play on the field, and you can't knock them down for that. And they're clearly the best team in California right now. I will give them that. I'm just interested into seeing how long that lasts, because the last time we had an MLS expansion side be first place in their first year, they missed the playoffs. What's going to be their next 2 years in St. Louis. So let's see if it lasts.
Yeah, you reminded me of a hot take I had in my back pocket. It's like no expansion team does expansion draft right.
That is true. And every year I make a mock expansion draft, and I don't think I've ever gotten a single pick correct.
And yours has clearly been better than what they
Mine
actually
is
want.
I hate to be like, I'm a football manager nerd, but I'm like an addict to that game. I need FM 26 to come out already. I'm a killer in those expansion drafts. So just like, that means you have the helm for one of these.
So clearly that can carry over. So GM material right here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, are you saying that Austin FC's best expansion pick being Denny Houston is bad?
What a bad expansion draft, by the way. What a bad one.
Yeah,
Or maybe Jared Stroud. You could argue Jared Stroud was their best expansion draft.
I've been getting
I
Freddie
mean, he
Kleeman.
contributed the most.
I've been getting Freddie Kleeman and 50 King Gam.
Actually, best pick was to play for 15 minutes, Kamal Miller. SNC legend.
That's my football. Come on.
Also SNC legend. No, I think the most interesting storyline in MLS is how the cash trades has really changed how the league viewed designated players. When you look at what Cincinnati's been able to do with acquiring Evander and getting rid of Luis Acosta, who's now also not with Dallas anymore, which is a weird story to follow. But the way to keep DPs in the league without having to do transfer fees and just giving clubs another way to build and to add players that they know are going to succeed in the league instead of the kind of dice roll that DPs usually are.
Yeah, I love the nerdiness of that answer. Yeah, that's good. There are 29 other MLS teams right now that are wishing that they had made that move for Evander.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at Austin fans have said this a lot, but the cash it took to get Evander is also the cash it took to spend on Azuma.
Yeah.
And, like...
I've done that now. All right, just what prediction going into the season did you have nailed on? Like, what did you see at the start of the season that you foretold was absolutely correct? Prophecy material.
Oh, well, what can correct? Oh, very little can correct. Like, because of the hype that was going into the season. Just on our end, we take care of a lot of the graphics, a lot of the stuff that you might see on social media that comes from our end. And there was one graphic in particular that got a lot of engagement, and it was just the amount of money that Austin FC had spent. It was Usuni 12 million, Brandon Vasquez 10 million, and Bukhari 7. And it was close to 30 million, and everybody was commenting, oh, the goals are coming, the wins are coming, the offense is coming. And I was also trying to push that. I was saying, hey, this is a different Austin FC. It's different because Nico is here as well. And I was not right at all. I was very, very far from the truth, and we're not always right. And I'm waiting for Austin FC to come around and give us that we're waiting for, and we know that they can produce it. It's just a matter of them making the results come true.
Evander would help.
He would a lot. I liked his throw today, by the way.
Yeah,
very nice.
Eli, what about you?
I'll be honest, I don't think I've gotten anything right this season. I just looked at my preseason predictions right before getting up here. I had Vancouver finishing 14th in the West. So we're not looking good here. I had you guys finishing 4th in the West. I was very high on you guys.
How about you?
I mean, I've gotten some of the bad teams correctly, but looking at like my top teams in both conferences, I don't think I've really gotten any correct. But as people have said earlier, MLS is such a crapshoot league, and I think that's the beauty of it. I can't complain about it. I wish I was like this voodoo wizard that got all like 15 in each conference correctly. But no.
Real quick, I also want to say that I used to bet, right? In Texas, there's some spots that you can bet, price picks, blah, 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 right? MLS is probably the worst league to bet on. It is so inconsistent. It is very, very difficult. The only thing that you really have going for you is the home team. Most of the time the home team wins, but it is so difficult to guess these lines because maybe my boys at North End probably have a way better time at doing it. They pay attention to the numbers very well. But a guy like me, I hate betting on MLS. That's why I just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, but the chaos is why we love this stupid league. Like, that's the fun of it. I think the prediction I had coming into the season that has been the most right is I called an Owen Wolf breakout season. Because a lot of people had this idea of a Danny Burrow breakout, and all their arguments were kind of, oh, well, he'll play more advanced, he'll have more freedom. And every time I looked into it in some of the preseason, I was like, all those arguments are really an argument for why Owen's going to break out. Because he's a more natural 10 attacking midfielder. There's a lot of minutes there. There's a lot of space there. Really, if he was like 3 years older, Austin would be in really great shape in terms of like ball progression. He's also doing really well, and I think that was the thing that got him.
Good.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Actually, one prediction I did say, and it might not come true in terms of MLS, but I did predict that this start of the year, Matt Freese would win MLS Goalkeeper of the Year, and at least what a breakout he had for the national team, so I'll take credit for that.
Thank you, Eli. We needed that. We needed Matt to come through in that way. So, what do you think is going to happen Open Cup wise? Austin is 2 wins away, as we keep reminding people, from winning the Open Cup. Possible team of destiny. Obviously, Minnesota stands in the way of that, but if Austin beats Minnesota, as we know, Austin will host Open Cup final against whoever emerges out of the East. They've still not made up that Red Bulls Philly rebound game, which is weird. I think they would have done that by now, but just thoughts on that. We'll start with Scott and go down.
Thank you. Austin already got a draw at Minnesota earlier this year, so I feel pretty good about that as a matchup, and I think Austin's roster might shake itself out a little bit more by then. I still just generally have little faith in MLS teams winning on the road, but I do think whoever comes out of the East probably wins the cup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%. Especially if it's like, if Philly gets by Rebel, then Philly and Nashville, I think those two teams are clearly better than the West.
Is that your hot take?
No, I think that's just right.
It's a type of take, right? It's a lukewarm, baby is ready for the bath kind of take, right? Eli, what about you? What do you think?
I'll be honest, I stopped watching the Open Cup after El Farolito got eliminated, because that's what I for. Just with how the tournament stuff has...
They have fans here.
Yeah, how tournaments have been with MLS. I kind of stopped following the Open Cup once it became just MLS. I always got root for the underdogs, so I'm just going to say Austin's going to take it.
All right. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but in the Open Cup, I've seen a very different Austin FC. I've seen a different beast. I've seen a different team. To me, it seems like a lot of these guys in this team, when their back is against the wall in an elimination game, what I've seen is that they come alive, right? Going back to the crazy El Paso game that we had here. Then they got the job done versus Houston, right? Then you go to San Jose, crazy match there as well. You get the job done one way or another into PKs. And I really do feel like this Austin FC side has the talent, and they have the emotion more than anything. They have that emotion factor. And I've heard this from, I believe it was Ozzy, but he said, sometimes Austin plays better away from home because they got nothing to lose this season. and hopefully, in Minnesota, they come alive. I will be there. I'm excited for it. I wouldn't travel if I didn't think that they could bring it back. And I think that the fact that the final would be at Q2, I really do think that that's in the back of their mind, and they're going to give that extra push because they want to have that celebration in front of their fans.
Yeah, good deal. So you are making the trip?
I am making the trip.
Have you been?
I have never been, and it's funny because I manifested this a couple months ago on a space. I said, you know what? I'd love to visit Minnesota Stadium, and now I finally get the chance.
Yeah, it's a great stadium, and you want to go to the Black Heart before and after the match.
Okay, I will.
Black Heart's good.
I'm going to on her.
I'm going to walk in and I'm going to say, I'm with Phil West. That's all you need to know.
All right, y'all ready for some hot takes?
Yeah!
All right, okay. If our guest is comfortable, we're going to let him go first.
I want to go last.
You want to go last? Okay. If our host is comfortable, he wants to go last. So, Scott, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
It's good.
My hot take is that Austin's historically bad attack is more of the fault of Rodolfo Garrel than Nico Estevez.
Okay. So, and remember, the rules are we're going to drop the hot take. We're going to let the crowd digest initially with what's going on there, and then you'll get a chance to build on that once we've got all the hot takes out in the open.
Okay, Morgan.
All right.
My hot take is that we need to trust MLS Next Pro more. We need to trust it more because there's a lot of people complaining about the jump that, the players aren't ready to go to MLS Next Pro to MLS, right? Well, if you don't trust it, what's going to happen? We're never going to know. There's so many good players from this system that have gone to find better opportunities because we didn't give them that chance. Vigo, Charleston Battery, Nico went back to Spain. There's so many good players that we have the opportunity to bring up through the system, and we just don't do it. And it's not Austin. There's a lot of there's so much just doubt in the next pro system, and I get it 100%, but we got to start trusting it more to have a real pipeline coming up from FCito to Austin FC.
Okay. Joe Lowry. Hernan, you just let it rip. So Scott, maybe we should just do a let it rip kind of style thing, right? We're still doing this. So Scott, do you want to do yours again and just kind of let it rip, start to finish, and then Eli, you'll do yours. Yeah, sure. That way. So this will be like, this is a kind of even more poetry slam. So yeah, I think I like this.
Okay, so first and foremost, Burrell picked Nico, so it's automatically his fault. Secondly, he's the one who assembled the roster that left us without any progressive passing in the midfield, without a true 10. He broke the club spending record twice on 2 players who played the same position and played the same style, and everybody knew that wasn't going to work, at least like coming in, and all of our optimism and hope was quickly dashed, and that's why Austin is second in the Golden Boot race to Sam Surridge and Lionel Messi.
All right, Eli, let's get your hot take and just start to finish.
Before I give it, the MLS PR people are gone, right? Just making sure, and I want to preface this for any potential brand deals in the future. I think this player is the GOAT, and I think Moss Plus is an excellent drink. It is the best drink ever. But I'm going to say Lionel Messi is not a top 5 most impactful player in MLS history. Okay, so I think with Lionel Messi, he's obviously a massive signing for the league. He's the greatest player ever. Him being in the league is amazing for the league, but we are yet to see what his lasting impact is gonna be on Major League Soccer. And I could give you the 5 players I think I'd put ahead of him. But you look at a guy like David Beckham, and I don't want to be like Galaxy bias here. He created the DP. He created that rule. He also changed American soccer forever and MLS as a whole, as a league. And we're yet to, Messi is living off of his name right now in MLS, and that being his impact on the league, just that he played here. But we haven't heard him necessarily speak out saying, oh, I don't like this about MLS, or I love this about MLS. And I think him maybe critiquing MLS at the slightest could be enough of an impact to actually change something about MLS that will change the league for the next 10, 15 years and beyond. And I think we're yet to see that from Lionel Messi. We're just seeing him being here, which is great, and I love it. But I'm yet to see exactly what his impact is going to be on the long term.
We don't even know if he's going to be here Wednesday night.
That is also true.
It's up in the air.
All right, so those are our takes. So again, this is audience participation time. So you have to applaud for who you think is
You need
best.
to name the 5 players I think might be more impactful.
So we've got, first of all, we got Scott with row no.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, some tepid applause. We got Hernan with Play Your Kids.
Maybe because it's a good term.
Yeah, all right. And then we've got more like Messi from Eli. Okay, I think Eli takes this. I think Eli advances to the next round. Thank you all for playing. Thanks for your insights. And first and foremost, or most of all, thanks for all the work that you were doing out there, all the podcasts, all the video stuff that you're putting out in the world, all the articles. Makes us all better.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to give a real quick shout out to my G Phil West. I see him as a mentor in this media stuff. Since day one, you could have been like, dude, get away from me. But you have opened the doors, you've told me tips and tricks on what to do, how to conduct myself, and you don't know how much I appreciate this.
It's all about growing a community. You guys are doing great work. You're killing it. And happy to call your friend.